We do not want you to be afraid of these times. We know we and many other spiritual teachers keep saying that these are big times. They are. But your heart is bigger. That the time for playing small is over. The time of playing big when you are not big, the time of pretending to be big is also over. Those lies will be exposed.
Hi, I'm Danielle, Reinvention Rose Queen and Identity Change Mentor who made her greatest quantum leaps in life at 40 and 50. I help women turn major midlife changes into potent identity shift portals. And this is my friend Corey, fashion designer and evolutionary astrologer. Corey helps sensitives whose lives are no longer making sense navigate the uncertain territory between an old identity and a new chapter. And together, using the astrology of identity and change channelings, we help you bravely step over the identity threshold from your old self into the new.
Stop asking others to tell you who you are. Who am I? Only you know, only you can do the work. We can help you guide, absolutely.
Yeah.
But only you can walk through the portal and through this eclipse.
I love that so much, Corey. I loved it so much. And I've already taken hold of my rose because I can feel the channel starting to open. And so I'm going to dive into the channeling. We are here and we are going to dive straight in because Corey just said something beautiful. And he said that the time for playing small is over. And boy, is that true. But we want to add a second layer to that. And that is the time of playing big when you are not big. The time of pretending to be big is also over. And that is Leo in the South Node. That is the ego shadow of Leo. That is the false leaders. That is the false spiritual leaders. That is the people just saying things on the social medias because it inflates their ego and it gives a sense of I am better than the rest because I am directly connected to source. That time is over. And those lies will be exposed. But that means that brings a responsibility to each and every one of you individually to step into your true, authentic Leo power. Literally, yesterday, Danielle had a session with a client where she asked the client to roar, to physically roar like a lion. People sometimes get it messed up when we use, like, for example, Corey did, when people tell you it is time to stop playing small. And from an old idea of what that meant, people could interpret it as now I need to step into the limelight and now I need to be big and now I need to be important, quote unquote, important, and now I need to be influential. That is not precisely what we mean when we say you need to stop playing small. Our interpretation is you need to start being true to your heart. And when we connect that to Saturn, you need to start putting structures in place where you can actually demonstrate that in real time. What does it mean in real time to live from your heart? Not what does it mean in your journal. It's nice when you start in your journal because you need to get some clarity on it, of course. But then you need to put the practical structures in place so that your life can reflect the heart of Leo. Does that make sense, Corey?
Well, it really, really makes sense. The differentiation of what you just said, we're not, as you said, it's not about inflating our egos. It is to live a heart-led life with not rigid discipline, with a discipline that fits your new identity, so that the signal you radiate on the outside matches exactly what you just said. Um,
Indeed. And Corey, we would like to add for some people, that might actually mean, very well mean, that they take a step back from visibility. For some people, if they really truly follow their heart, it might mean that they move to a cottage somewhere up in the countryside and they have a little rose garden and they have some chickens running around, and that is their true heartfelt expression. And that would mean for them that they are no longer playing it small because their old identity plastered on them sometimes by family structures. For example, let's say an identity of being a famous doctor or a lawyer or a successful business person. If that is not genuinely in alignment with the heart, for them it's more truthful to step back out of the limelight. And that would be their lion's roar. You understand, Corey?
abs- Absolutely, what you say is incredibly also practical to understand. The solar eclipse is eclipsing the sun. When you say the limelight, instead of being in the wrong identity's light, we are being called to step into the light of our true essence that is very different. And that's exactly what you're saying right here in a very powerful way. Step into your own heart-led light, not into the light that has been placed upon you because it made you feel controlled, validated, loved, as long as that light is not being outsourced from the outside, but this light is sourced from the inside out. This is the
Absolutely.
call. This is the call, I do believe, of this solar eclipse.
Absolutely, Corey. Absolutely. Do you have a question for us?
When you tune in into this eclipse and into humanity collectively, who do you feel we are being asked to become when the identities we have relied upon no longer work?
It's a continuation of what we just shared.
Mhm.
And basically, we want to say you are simply being called to become genuine, genuine. And we specifically use the word genuine now and not authentic because authentic has also been overused.
Mm.
It has been overused, and for many people they don't really understand what it is anymore. But when we say genuine, we mean being really honest with yourself, like, is this how I want to live my life? Is this what I want to wake up for in the morning? Is it? And if it is not, what is? And how do I create a life so that that becomes possible, or at the very, very least, as close to possible as I can manage?
Mm.
And for that, dear ones, we want to bring in the beautiful energy of Aquarius, because over this year, till the time that we will have the next eclipse, in 2027 in August, that's going to be this very potent one. Over this period, you, as humanity collectively, but individually, are going to be asked to be very innovative. So, in other words, things that might seem impossible to you now. So, if you were to say, let's say, we are completely exaggerating now, but let's say that genuine to you would mean I want to become a sheep herder. And you think to yourself, but that is practically impossible. It cannot be done. I will lose everything. I cannot do that. What this year is inviting you is to come up with innovative ways in which you can make it at least, at the very least, partially possible. Because what you are stepping into as humanity is the understanding that much more is possible than you thought was possible. And that is part of your ascension. As the strict lines of your 3D reality, as they blur, as they shift, as they move further out. What once was real is not the same thing as what can be real now or in the future. So we want you to be future facing. And with future facing, we mean we want you to look at what is possible now. How do I make it possible?
Beautiful. Yeah, one practical step, as tiny as it is, it has ripple effects. I'm curious to know what would the wisdom of the rose would like to say to anyone watching regarding that, again, that the continuity of that threshold. You want to start something, you want to stop something, you understand what needs changing, but you can't put that into place. What is
Yes,
the rose wanting to express through
this
you?
this is what the rose wants to express around that theme. Here is where Saturn comes in. For Saturn is patience. And Saturn is taking one step at a time. So you humans, because of the false identity that you've been formed and pushed into for so long, the identity where faster is better, where a shining bright for millions of people to see is better. You have become addicted to speed. It needs to be tomorrow. It needs to be now. That is not what will really help you change. The only thing that needs to be now or tomorrow is the clarity of at least what direction you are moving into. But then once you have that clarity, you start with one tiny step at a time. And we have given Danielle this analogy many times. We showed her, imagine being outer space and it's completely dark. It's completely dark. And you want to set out on a path. And you will just see one stone lighting up in front of you. Let's say it's a star. And you step on that star. And once you step on the star, then another one lights up. And with your other foot, you step on that one. And another lights up. That's how it really works. It's not that you know the entire plan from the beginning, but it is that you have the discipline, the courage also to keep taking one step at a time in the direction of where you're headed. So what you do need to be clear about is, where are you going? Where does my heart want to take me? And at this solar eclipse, maybe the only part of the answer you will get is where your heart no longer wants you to be.
Mm.
So your first step might be stepping away from what no longer resonates with your heart. And then, bit by bit, working on getting clarity on, okay, what direction do I want to move towards?
That was actually going to be my next question, and you answered it.
Of course, because I'm divine intelligence, or we are divine intelligence.
No, of course. I don't have any other question, but if you wish to address or say anything else, please.
No, we think it has been plenty of steps for today. Perhaps the only thing we want to say to anyone watching, listening in, feeling in, we do not want you to be afraid of these times. We know, we and many other spiritual teachers keep saying that these are big times. They are. But your heart is bigger. And so every time you feel overwhelmed by everything that is happening, go back to your heart. Use practical techniques. For example, heart-brain coherence meditations, breathing techniques, being in nature, grounding yourself, being around big trees, being in sacred bodies of water. Do the things that will connect you back to your heart so that you don't succumb to fear, so that you don't stop taking steps forward because you are so engulfed in fear. And do what you need to do to help your nervous system along the way. Keep working with the body. You are still incarnated in a body for a reason. That means that you cannot totally ignore the body. And your body has become addicted to your old identity. When you start releasing that, your body will fight you, and it will fight you through fear. That is not a bad thing. That is just your body trying to keep you alive, trying to keep you safe. So as you go through this process, you will have to keep working, or work if you haven't done so before, actively with regulating your nervous system. That doesn't mean pretending like the fear is not there. It means communicating with your nervous system that you are changing, that you are making different decisions, that you are growing, and that part of the process is that in the beginning of those changes, it feels scary. That has to do with letting go of the addiction to the old. And then train yourself to get addicted to the new, to that which is calling you, to that which is opening up your heart, to that which is innovative, an innovative, new, radiant, genuine you. We leave you for today, grateful to have shared this sacred time with you. And until we meet again, dear ones, as always, stay blessed.
Beautiful. I just stayed with that sentence. The body is addicted to your old identity. Wow. So the practical things you've invited people watching to do is very important. Your nervous system will fight you outgrowing the safety of its old identity. So as you said, the heart brain coherence, telling your body like it's safe to be changing. Walk with the fear
Yes.
and take your own agency over your own mind. The most important thing that you obviously imparted is your heart. The mind is at the service of your heart, not the other way around.
Yes, absolutely. And I often tell my mentees, I tell them you need to go through rehab. You
Yeah,
know, if your body is addicted to chemicals, literally chemicals of fear, chemicals of anxiety,
yeah,
chemicals of not knowing, of stuckness, you need to take yourself through an energetic rehab
absolutely.
so that you can come out the other side and become addicted to chemicals that are actually healthy for you and your system.
Yeah, and therefore that then you stop being actually addicted to a new identity, which means you can live in a nervous system on a low alert where the addiction is not necessary anymore, and you will be able to shift because we will be moving through identities over like our life, just like life changes over time, and where those shifts will become easier to manage, and that's the whole goal.
So the guides were just coming in with one last piece of information around addiction. And they said, when we bring this back to the total solar eclipse, we as humans have become addicted to a false idea of identity. We have become addicted to this idea of um, being grand, being seen everywhere, like actors and big leaders, and that we have become addicted to as a society, and we see it everywhere. We see it in our social media. And so, with this South Node being there at eclipse time in Leo, this is really a huge rehab moment. This is
I,
where we take the needle away, and it's like this is the universe performing an intervention.
I love that. What you're saying is so good. Yeah, yeah.
This is the universe performing an intervention and
Saying like,
sitting humanity, taking out the needle, sitting humanity down, and just saying, we are taking you to rehab because it's done. This
wow,
needs to get out of your system. So, what we want to say to you is you will have a year to go through rehab. Let's call it lovingly identity rehab. And with that, we're going to leave you for today because, as always, we've gone way longer than we've planned. Um, Ways that you can work with Corey and me, you will find all of it in the show notes.
mhm.
We're so grateful for you being here. Corey, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It really is a pleasure to do those with you. It's uplifting, and the messages you are giving to others are also messages because I'm part of as everyone else. Um, so thank you so much for really not being afraid of leading with your heart.
Thank you so much, my friend. And same right back at you. If you found this inspiring, subscribe to my channel, to Corey's channel, And also, we have 3 other videos out regarding that are connected to this huge identity portal, which was heightened or is heightened during the Lionsgate. And we advise you to go and check those out as well. You will find links to those in the show notes too. Have a beautiful total solar eclipse in Leo, and we will see you back soon. Bye.
Source, you have a prime membership to Source. Sometimes identity becomes connected with being seen a certain way, successful, admired, validated. So if I'm not that anymore, then who am I? And that is where the reinvention begins with that total solar eclipse.